We are in James chapter 4 today, James 4. And today's sermon has a name that we all should like very much. The sermon is called Making Money God's Way. Okay. Now, our Flint City Church, we have a pretty diverse economic crew that runs with us. Half an hour goes at Carriage Town, a homeless shelter. And those people are part of our church. That crew, we love them. The reason I'm up early every Sunday is because they can't come to us anymore. They can't take a van here. We used to meet at Carriage Town every single week. Remember? We used to meet at Carriage Town and we sit, just people together. Homeless, lower class, middle class, upper middle class, all in one room together. The Carriage Town crew is still part of our family. We love him, and we show up for him. There's a guy there today I haven't seen in a year. He got off the street. He was doing good, but he crashed his car this week. He got in a car accident. Someone pulled out in front of him. He crushed his car, and with a car, he couldn't get to work. And so all the dominoes fell, right? Someone on the edge of surviving is now back in the homeless shelter. And you're like, man, I'm like, it's good to see you, but man, I wish you weren't here, because this is not where you want to be. It's the homeless shelter. I'm glad you're not cold, but what happened to your apartment? And he told me the story. That's part of our family. We have people in this church that are probably considered poor, under the poverty line. We live in Genesee County. When I first moved to Genesee County, we did this awesome experiment. But we needed to determine a salary for me. So they basically paid me the average household income for the city of Flint. That was my first paycheck. Now, I was living in Waterford, then moved to Flint. Let me tell you something. Oakland County's average household income is different than Genesee County's average household income. I don't know if you know that. And Genesee County's average household income is different than Flint's annual household income. Over at the east side, where we're planting this church, the average household income in that whole community out there, and it's the good part of the east side, $32,000 a year. A lot of those homes have mom and dad working together. 32. One bad medical expense can burn that family down, can it? In Oakland County, I'd work with people where if a mom and dad both worked, that family was bringing home over 100 G's easy. In Genesee County, mom and dad work, 60 is more of a reality in this part of the world. But we all share, even though whether someone's homeless, poor, middle class, upper middle class, we all like making money. Fair? Every one of us has done the thing, right? If I won the lotto, you ever done that thing? If I hit the jackpot? Now, I don't play the lotto often because I understand what it is. Like when I go to a football game here in the city, someone walks around with a little coffee can, they do a raffle, right? You pay $5, get some tickets, and they pull a ticket out and you win the money. Someone wins $1,200 there in the football game. Well, the lotto is a raffle for the whole state or the whole country. Sometimes it gets really high. Like sometimes when the lotto gets to what number? Like when it gets like 700 million, I'm like, I should go buy one. I don't pay attention until it's like almost $1 billion. Then I'm like, should we go buy one, babe? We all have the idea, if I won the lotto, I would do these things. If I made that much money, I'd buy this car. Or I'd, go on this vacation, right? We all have the thing. When I play Monopoly, you ever play Monopoly, the game Monopoly? Roll the dice, I got doubles, I'll go to jail. Monopoly. At some point in every Monopoly game, someone says, wouldn't it be awesome if this money was real? Every game I've ever played Monopoly, someone said that line. So we do. Making money, we like to make it. Now, back in the day, my family was born in Texas. My family was not from Michigan. We're all from Texas. My family moved from Texas to Flint, Michigan, 2 generations ago, 3 generations ago. 1, 2, no, 2. I don't know, something. But they moved here because of the auto plants. Because you could move to Flint, and with a high school degree, you get a job and support a family. You had insurance, you had a great wage, and Flint was built on the back of the automotive industry. That happened. Now, those jobs are all gone. You know that, right? If you get out of high school if you have a high school degree or no high school at all, and you want to go find a gig, you're not finding those old GM jobs anymore, are we? Most Americans work a lot of us work a 40-hour-a-week job, and we have a side job we work on Saturdays or after we get off work to make walking around money. I know so many families who will do Uber Eats or Shipt for Myers or work a Saturday job just to have walking around money. That's a lot of Americans, that's our average life. We make a little extra money to get over the hump of a bill or of some kind of financial need. At the end of the book of James, we're getting to the end of James here, and James has told us to be quick to hear. He's told us to be slow to speak. He's told us to be slow to anger. And as he comes to the end of his book, he has this random spot near the end where he he warns people about being rich. Now, you hear those words and to yourself, well, I'm not rich, so this is not for me. Forget that action. This is for all of us. I know we're not all rich, but we all make money or like making money. We all need to receive what James says here. Here's the fact of the matter. I'm not a billionaire or a millionaire. That's not what I am. When I walked into the Richfield Court Apartments, I realized I'm doing a lot better than a lot of people in our city. And so are a lot of us. We need to hear these words from James. This is what the Bible says. Chapter 4 and verse 13. Come now, you who say, today or tomorrow we will go into such and such a city and spend a year there and trade and make profit. Yet you do not know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? For you are a mist that appears for a little time and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and do this or that. As it is, you boast in your arrogance, and all such boasting is evil. So whoever knows the right thing to do and fails to do it, for him it is sin. Come now, you rich, weep and howl for the miseries that are coming upon you. Your riches have rotted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver have corroded, and their corrosion will be evidence against you and will eat your flesh like fire. You have laid up treasure in the last days. Behold, the wages of the laborers who mowed your fields, which you kept back by fraud, are crying out against you, and the cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord of hosts. You have lived on the earth in luxury and in self-indulgence. You have fattened your hearts in a day of slaughter. You have condemned and murdered the righteous person. He does not resist you. Here's what's going on in James' world. The Christian church has been scattered to the wind. Everyone's on the run. And he's writing to all these churches that have sprung up in new towns as people left Jerusalem. And in these churches, you have a lot of poor people and some rich people. And through the whole letter, there have been little mentions of the rich and the poor, how they relate one to another. Well, finally, James, I got to deal with the rich real quick. I got to deal with the rich and talk to them dead on. Because there were some Christians, they're Jewish Christians, who were merchants and made a good living. And they went to church and they had money. And he's talking to them. So let's start with the first. There's 2 big warnings. The first warning is a warning against arrogance. Because here's the reality. Making money can make a person arrogant. Making money can make someone arrogant. He says this, "Come now, you who say, today or tomorrow we'll go to such and such a town and spend a year there and trade and make a profit." Let me put that in American terms for us. It's like me saying to someone, "Man, you give me, I can move to Chicago tomorrow. You give me 3 months, I'll make $1 million. That's what he's saying. That's very big talk. I can go anywhere and do anything and make big money. How come you can't? There's this presumption that there's this, if people that make money, this happens to all of us, okay? It happened to me this week. I can't believe it happened to me. When you start making a little more money, you start actually believing that the money you make is because you're better than other people. The reason I'm financially secure is because I'm so smart and I'm so strong. And the reason you're not financially secure is because you're lazy or you're dumb. And we've been thinking that our financial strength is because of our own hard work. And that arrogance is a poison. If I listen to the way the middle class and the wealthy talk about the poor of our country, it's almost we blame the poor for being poor. We talk down to them. If I have money, I am therefore smarter than you. Here's the reality. For any of us, listen, I am financially stronger than I've ever been in my life. Well, I thought almost. I guess I'm saying this is that I'm a third generation American, and my generation had financial strength. I'm the first generation to own a home. You understand what I'm saying? Like 3 generations in America, not owning a home, not starting a business, and then I'm third generation in, and I'm doing all right. But here's the deal. I heard a millionaire on the news talking about his incredible financial business wizardry. You know how, if you just work hard and work the system, you can be a millionaire like me. And he says, I borrowed a little bit from my father, but the rest of it I did myself. And you read the book, and he's like, he borrowed $3 million from his father. And he still says, look what I did. If my dad gave me $3 million as a loan, I'd probably be killing it too. But not all of us have that. I was married for 10 years before I ever bought a home. Longer than that, babe? 10, 12 years? When I got married, all my friends were buying houses. And I felt so bad that I couldn't buy a house. But my buddies, their uncles or their mom or their dad would give them help for the down payment, and I didn't have that. If my friends, they'd say to me, man, when you're renting, you're throwing money away. Why are you living that way? I felt like I was less than them because they owned a home and I didn't. Just because you have money doesn't make you better than anybody else. Making money can make you feel better. We must understand a lot of our financial strength is the kindness of God. God let us find a good job. He opened the door for our skill set. The Lord has been kind to us, and instead of being grateful to Him, we get arrogant and assume that I made my own money. This is all. Listen, I did not pick myself up by my bootstraps. My first semester of college, my church paid for me to go to school. I couldn't have done what I did without the people of God helping me. I wasn't super strong or super smart. I was a recipient of grace, as we all are. James says here in this, his first warning is just because you have money, don't boast in your arrogance. Just this week, I had it happen to my heart. What happened to my heart is I felt I deserved money. I'll tell you what I mean. I have a rule in my life. I never charge to preach the gospel. If the door opens, I'm going to go and share Jesus. weddings, funerals. I get called to go to like a wedding conference. They'll ask me, how much do you charge? I'm like, whatever you want to give me. That's what I say every time. It freaks people out. Whatever you want to give me, I'll come. Well, this last week, I got invited to go do something, and I said my normal line, whatever you want to give me. They said, well, we'll give you this. And I was like, I'm worth more than that. That's how I felt in my heart. Like, I was like, that? You're going to give me that? Don't you know who I am? And I realized what happened to me. I used to be so grateful that God gave me opportunities to use my gifts, and here I am being a spoiled brat, upset about the dollar amount. It happens to all of us. Making money can make us arrogant. We can start feeling that we're better than other people because we're not poor. Listen, that could be any one of us. I used to think in America that if you were smart, you could beat the system and be upper middle class. I don't think that's true anymore. I've met so many families who have been undone by the awful medical system of our country. Working hard, saving money, doing what's right, and something bounces wrong for insurance. You got to pay $32,000 for 1 year, maximum deductible. You're smoked. It happens. If you have financial strength in your home, I tell my kids all the time, children, we live in this nice house. We can go out to McDonald's once a week. You know why? Twice a week. You know why? Do you know why we are so blessed? Because God's been kind to us. I like to make sure they understand we have these gifts because God has been kind to us. Because we've been not there. I've tried to tell the kids, I've had to tell them before, kids, we can't afford things right now. They don't understand it. Like, my daughter, when we first moved to Flint and we didn't have a lot of money, she'd be like, Dad, can we get this? I'm like, Lena, I don't have the money right now. She's like, well, I'll just call Allie and ask her. I'm like, don't you dare call a church friend that's for money. All she knows is she wants something, and she's willing to do whatever she can to get it. And I was like, Angie, you better not let her do this thing. Embarrass the family. But she didn't. But that was her first, it's like, well, I want it, so someone else buy it for me. I'm like, Lena, shh. She's just a kid. But if you have financial strength, don't get arrogant about it. Don't think you're awesome. Just because you're not poor, don't get better than someone that is poor. Instead, he says, don't you know? You don't know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? It's a vapor, man. It's a mist that appears for a little time and vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and do this or that. Christ's followers should live humbly before the Lord as we make our money. Christ's followers should live humbly before the Lord when we make our money. Meaning this: the world we live in does what they want for themselves. As Christ followers, we have a different set of values, which means the house I live in, the city I live in, the car I drive, the things I buy, all the stuff I do is under God's authority. When I make decisions, the decision is not, do I like this or do I want it? There's also the question, Lord, does this honor you? Do you want this for us? There has to be, for those of us who love Christ, if there's a question, is this in his will for us? Sometimes, when I was a new believer in Christ, my dream was to live in a suburb and pastor a mega church and have 2 new nice cars. Maybe live on a lake. I wanted the American dream. And God called us to the city of Flint. No lakes to move to in the city of Flint. I guess I'd go to Kersley Dam, but that's kind of, I don't know if I want to do that. When I moved here, one of my relatives said to me, your mom worked so hard to get you out of the city, and you're going back? But God's will matters to us. As we look at our future, we say, what would you have us do? When it comes to a new job, we ask, Lord, do you want me to do this or not? We put our plans before God's feet. It's not just about what we want. We're like, Lord, is this what you want for me? We offer our dreams at the feet of God. We must walk humbly with the Lord. So, the first thing he says is this. He says, making money, don't get arrogant, don't be proud, don't you look down on the poor. I hear so many Christians talk so ugly about the poor. Just this last 2 weeks ago, one of the biggest crushed Christian money people in America was on a talk show talking about the stimulus money. And he said, if a family in America, if the stimulus will make or break you, you got bigger problems. That's what they said. I'm like, some of us are doing that bad, dude. Yeah, I'm not happy I'm poor. Thanks for bringing it up again. That lack of empathy, lack of compassion, that arrogance doesn't look like Jesus. You look like a butt. You look like a bad person. Like you are an unkind person. And that's not Jesus. Shh, don't laugh at that. There's another warning. This is the harder of the two. The arrogance thing gets into all of our hearts. If you have money, if you're doing well financially, thank God for it. Be grateful and be humble for it. And as you walk forward in life, ask the Lord, how should I walk? Where should I go? My wife and I have a rule in our life, and this is our rule. Whenever we get a raise of any kind, we ask the question, what mission are we going to support new now? Because if we get a raise, we assume we're blessed to be a blessing. And we always ask, who do we want to support new? And so we look for new missionary support. Whenever we get a raise of any kind, that's what we do in our lives. Because we want to remember that this gift is from the Lord. That's what we do. And here's the next warning. This one's meaner. And this is not just to the millionaires, billionaires, Wall Streeters. This is to us. Come now, you rich, weep and howl for the miseries that are coming upon you. Your riches have rotted, your garments are moth-eaten, your gold and silver have corroded, and the corrosion will be evidence against you and will eat your flesh like fire. You have laid up treasures in the last days. Behold, the wages of the laborers who mowed your fields, which you kept back by fraud, are crying out against you, and the cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord of hosts. Making money can be dishonest. Making money can be dishonest and will be judged. In this little story he tells here, you have these rich Christian merchants. You know what they're doing? The day laborers come and work in the fields, and they're not paying them. They're holding the wages back. They're being unjust. Do you know how many penalties there are in American society for being poor? It's crazy. When my wife and I first got married, go to rent our first apartment, I was afraid of debt. I grew up in a home that had a lot of debt, always dodging loan collectors, always calling, and mom always say, tell them not home. I'm like, we're not home. Well, I'm not here either. Oh, it was crazy. This is a message, beep, it was crazy. But I knew I didn't want to live that way. I didn't want to have loan collectors calling me. I didn't want to live with that kind of stress. So I had never had a credit card my whole life. I would literally take a train to Chicago for college with like 10 grand in my pocket every year to pay for school. That's not a good idea. I'm glad no one ever mugged me. This big old, was that a cell phone? No, that's my money. But I always go. So I get married. We go to an apartment complex. We're like, we want to rent an apartment. Ernesto Alaniz, you have no credit. I'm like, isn't it great? I'm doing so well. They're telling me, listen, no credit is worse than bad credit. I didn't know that. No one told me that. I'm 20 years old, newly married, and I can't rent an apartment because I don't have credit in the world. I've been living on cash for years. 10 years ago, when we bought our first home, we couldn't afford to put 10% down. So there's a thing called PMI. You heard of this? Prime mortgage interest, also known as poor man's insurance. PMI, if you can't afford 20% down on your house, you get a penalty every month to pay extra to the mortgage company, money being thrown into the wind. Goodbye, money, for no reason. $120, goodbye, money. If you're poor, there's fees against you. That's just the way it is. You can't get a loan from the bank. There's penalties for getting a mortgage. Because you can't get a loan from the bank, you know where you go? You go to a payday loan place. In the city of Flint, they're all over. And every street in Flint, we have a payday loan place. You've heard of these places? And here's what they do. They're legal loan sharks. You go in there, ask for your paycheck up front, and they charge you an ungodly amount of interest. And they got you for years and years and years. As Christ followers, we cannot make our money by eating the poor. If I met a Christian man, he said, a rich guy driving a sweet car, I'm like, oh, how'd you make your money? Oh, I own like 15 payday places in Phoenix. I'd punch him in his nose, then go to jail. Because Christ followers, we shouldn't make our money eating the poor. Literally, and there's so many industries that do this. There's so many industries that take advantage of the weak. In America, if you're willing to be a little crooked, you can just take advantage of the poor. And you know what? How many scams are out there right now? My mom called me one day. She's like, mijo, a little window popped up on the computer saying I had a virus and to call a number. I'm like, what'd you do? She's like, I called the number and they got on my computer and they're helping me fix it. I'm like, Mom, unplug the internet right now. I'm coming over right now. She gave scammers access to her computer. They were going to clean her out. And this is just a woman, just a kind woman, trusting the computer screen, getting smoked. Happens every day in our country. As Christians, we don't make our money eating the vulnerable. True story in America. In America, who gets the best deal, the best price on a used car? What demographic does the best in wheeling and dealing for a new car? Anyone know? I'll tell you, white men. White men walk into a used car dealership, they can wheel and deal, they're confident, they get a good price. You know who gets the worst deal of all people? Black women. They walk in there, maybe there's a humility or a sweetness or a softness, and the car guy can eat her up and just eat that purse out of her hands. As Christians, we don't do that. We don't take advantage of people who are softer or weaker. We don't rob people of their money. We can't make our fortunes being dishonest. I worked in the industry when I was young. We were a part of a carpet cleaner system, a carpet cleaner industry, and we literally had no set cost for our carpet cleaning. We'd go to the house, look at their car, how big the house was, and then give them a price. And the more we could give them, the more money we got in our own pocket. We hustled people. As Christians, we cannot make our money being dishonest. If your industry is robbing people, if what you do for a living hurts people, you gotta stop that. I don't care how good the money is. Christ followers, we can't be drug dealers, in case you don't know that. Good money, crushing the world. Destroying the world. When I was in college, one of our professors was an evangelist. The guy had no fear, preached Jesus to everybody. And he met a gangster in the city of Chicago. And this gangster, Angie hates this word. This gangster, women paid him money to protect them as they did their nighttime business. You understand, adults? Yes. Okay. That was his business. The guy, he dressed pretty awesome. Always wore lime green shirts, pink ties, awesome hat with a feather. Say to the 70s, it was out of control. This guy, over the course of time, got saved. And he asked my professor, I'm a Christian now, can I still sell women? And the professor told him, no, you can't. And he stopped. Being a Christian affects how you make your living. We cannot make a dishonest living because if we do, the Lord is going to judge us. That Richfield Court Apartments, that condemned place, the families living there paid their rent every single month. And the guy took those rent checks. You know what he did? Didn't pay the taxes, and didn't pay the water bill, and didn't pay the power bill. They all lost their homes through no fault of their own. You know how many Christians I hear, stiff people on hard work? I have friends of mine who are tradesmen, who lay concrete or build with wood. And they'll do someone's driveway or build some cabinets from in the church, and then the church member will stiff them on the payment. Shame. For shame. How are we this way? How are we so greedy and stingy and dishonest? Or the other way, you own a business, someone pays you half the money up front, you never come back to finish the work. Shame! You are wrong, you've done wrong, and you've dishonored the name of Christ. We cannot make money being dishonest. We can't do that. There are slumlords in this city of Flint who own homes, and if the home falls apart, won't fix it for the tenant. If you're a Christian, you own a home, you own rentals, you keep that rental nice for your stinking renters. That's what a Christian does. We can't be like the world to squeeze out a few extra bucks. We can't be like them. We can't be like them. You're like, well, I don't have any power. I don't have a business. I don't hire anybody. Listen, if you go to a restaurant and you don't tip your waitress, it's unkind, man. Where's your generosity? Where's the secret? You ask any waitress you go to Miller Road, ask any waitress, what's the worst shift to work? Sunday afternoon. We tip the worst. Our people. We should be the best tippers. Oh, she gets paid. I've seen Christians make a mess on their table. Someone's paid to clean this. Slow to speak. For shame on us. We can make money being dishonest. It says here, come now, you rich, weep and howl, for the miseries are going to come upon you. If you make your money hurting others, that money is not going to come for you. I own 2 businesses in my life. 2 little businesses I own. They make no money. They're great. Someday they might. Whatever I do for business, I make sure I'm taking advantage of no one. That what the product I'm offering is a fair product for a fair price, because I don't want to be a greedy, unjust person. We can't be greedy, we can't be unjust. It's just what it is. The first thing I want to say is this. When you make money, Christ followers make their money in honest ways. Christ followers make their money in just ways. Listen, you're allowed to make money. You're allowed to be wealthy. If you get a great new job, I'm for you. Take the new job, make the good money, and give some to the church. You know, I'm for you. I want you to win. If you win, we all win, right? I'll borrow your car. It'll be great. You buy a pool, I'll come swim in your pool. Whatever. Listen, I'm for you being financially strong. I'm for it. I'm for it. You're allowed to save. You're allowed to be smart. You're allowed to be financially strong. But just don't do it in an unjust, evil way. We must make our money in a way that honors God. That honors God. We don't take advantage of people. We don't rob people. We have to make our money in a way that is godly and honorable. In America, you make a lot of money being crooked. Listen, as a pastor, I could be crooked like a $3 bill. Couldn't I, Roy?
Yes, sir.
But we have to face the Lord in prayer and in death. We got to face him. I don't want to come to him in prayer ashamed for the people I've robbed. I don't want to die and face him like, man, you did this to so many. How could you? So we all want to make money. I want you to make money. I'm for small businesses. In a city like Flint where there's no jobs, a lot of us need to start businesses to help our city come back. Listen, our church will help you with your small business, honestly. Website stuff, we want to see people succeed. But whatever business you start, make sure it honors the Lord. Not unjust, not evil, not robbing the poor or the vulnerable. There's so much I got to say. There's so many scams in our society. I can't even go into all of them. It makes me so angry. But we, just us, let's make our money in a God-honoring way. Here's the fact of the matter. What does it profit a man? What does it profit a woman if you gain the whole world yet lose your soul? I'd rather be poor and have integrity than be rich and have none. It's not all about the Benjamins, guys. But that said, let us pray. Father in heaven, we live here in Flint, Michigan, where we see the poor taken advantage of every day. We see Christians preying on the poor. We want to be a place that doesn't eat the weak. We want to give our strength for the weak. We want to give sacrificially. We want to serve lovingly. Lord, it is our heart to be humble before you and to use our strength in ways that will enrich our neighbor, not rob from them. Help us be a community that puts our money where our gospel is. Lord, help us not be all talk. Faith without works is dead. Help us be alive. In Christ's name we ask all these things. Amen.